Good afternoon, everyone. I, Pragya Kaul, Company Secretary and Compliance Officer of your company, welcome you all to the 15th Annual General Meeting of your company, which is being held through video conferencing. It is 12 noon IST and the time to start the meeting. Since the 15th Annual General Meeting is being held through video conferencing, the registered address of the company is situated at B1/B2 701 7th floor Marathon Innova, Ganpatrao Kadam Marg, Lower Parel, Mumbai, Maharashtra, India shall be deemed venue of the meeting. Now I request Chairman Sir Mr. Arvind Uppal to call the meeting to order.
Thank you, Pragya. Good afternoon, shareholders. I am Arvind Uppal, Chairman of the company and Stakeholders and Relationship Committee of the Board of Directors, and also the member of the Risk Management Committee of the Board of Directors. I'm attending this meeting through video conferencing from Gurugram. I welcome you all to the 15th Annual General Meeting of the company. As the requisite quorum is present, I call the meeting to order. May I now request Pragya to conduct the further proceedings of the meeting.
Thank you, Chairman Sir. Before we proceed further, I would like to introduce the directors who are attending this meeting. I would like to start with Mr. Pratik Pota, Managing Director and CEO of the company and member of Stakeholders Relationship Committee and CSR Committee of the Board of Directors. He is attending this meeting from the registered office of the company. Thank you, sir. Now I would like to introduce Mr. Sahil Dalal, non-executive and non-independent director of your company and member of Audit Committee meeting and Nomination and Remuneration Committee meeting and Risk Management Committee of the Board of Directors. He is joining this meeting from the registered office of the company. Thank you, Sahil. Now I would like to introduce Mr. Vinod Rao, independent director of your company and also the chairman of Audit Committee and Risk Management Committee and member of NRC Committee, Stakeholders Relationship Committee and CSR Committee of the Board of Directors. He is joining this meeting from London. Thank you, sir. Now I would like to introduce Mrs. Gurveen Singh, independent director of our company and also the chairperson of the Nomination and Remuneration Committee and Corporate Social Responsibility Committee and member of Audit Committee, Risk Management Committee and Stakeholders Relationship Committee of the Board of Directors. She is joining this meeting from Delhi. Thank you, ma'am. Now I would like to introduce Mr. Homi Katgara, independent director of your company and also the member of Nomination and Remuneration Committee and Corporate Social Responsibility Committee of the Board of Directors. He is joining this meeting from Turkey. Thank you, sir. Now I would like to inform that Mr. Shashank Samant, independent director of your company and also the member of the Stakeholders Relationship Committee and Risk Management Committee of the Board of Directors will not be able to attend this meeting due to certain pre-commitments. I would like to introduce also Mr. Gaurav Khandelwal, CFO of your company. He is attending this meeting from the registered office of the company. Thank you, Gaurav. Apart from the management team, we also have with us Mr. Nilesh Shah representing Deloitte Haskins & Sells, who are our statutory auditors, Mr. Milind Ramani representing Milind Hanali & Associates, PCS and scrutinizers for this 15th Annual General Meeting. In terms of various circulars issued by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs and SEBI, notice of the 15th Annual General Meeting and integrated annual report for the financial year 23-24 was sent through email to the members on August 29, 2024. With the permission of the members, I would like to take the notice convening the meeting as read. Similarly, as the statutory auditor's report and the secretarial auditor's report does not contain any qualification, reservation, or adverse comments, with the permission of the shareholders, I would take this report as read. The resolutions forming part of the notice of the 15th AGM have been recommended by the Board of Directors for approval of the shareholders. Since the resolutions have been put to vote through e-voting, formal proposing and seconding of these resolutions is not required. The company has taken all the necessary steps to enable the members to participate through video conferencing and to vote on the items of ordinary business being conducted at this 15th AGM. In compliance with the provisions of the Companies Act 2013 and the SEBI listing regulations, the company had provided the facility for remote e-voting through NSDL to allow the members to cast their votes on the resolutions as set out in the 15th AGM notice. The e-voting period started from Tuesday, September 17, 2024 at 9 a.m. IST till Thursday, September 19, 2024 and concluded at 5 p.m. IST. The company has appointed Mr. Mihin Halani, proprietor of Messrs. Mihin Halani and Associates, practicing company secretaries, as a scrutinizer to scrutinize the entire voting process, that is, remote e-voting and e-voting during the 15th AGM in a fair and transparent manner. Since this 15th AGM is being held through video conferencing, as permitted by Ministry of Corporate Affairs and SEBI, the provisions relating to appointment of proxies by the members are not applicable. The registers, documents, and records, as required by law, are open for electronic inspection by the members and shall remain accessible to the members for their inspection electronically if they so desire. May I now request Chairman Sir to address the shareholders?
Thank you, Pragya. Dear shareholders, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to the AGM of Eureka Forbes Limited. I am delighted to be addressing you at the 15th AGM of the company. I hope you and your families are safe and in good health. Over the last 2 years, we have embarked upon our transformation journey, Udan. Financial year 24, being first full year of our transformation journey, has proved to be a game changer for the company, with considerable progress made in several fronts during the year. This year, not only did we decisively reverse the business trajectory compared to our long-term trends, but also deployed strong building blocks for the future. Besides the progress achieved by the company on various fronts this year, I am particularly pleased by the enhanced transparency and stakeholder interactions as part of our corporate governance initiatives. To call out a few, we held our first ever Investor Day in June 2024 to share our strategic direction, progress, and future plans. Inaugural integrated annual report for the financial year 23-24, which provides enhanced disclosures. And last, and not the least, has been the very recent successful listing on the National Stock Exchange of India. Driving change in a company with a 4-decade legacy is an exciting and step-by-step process. Our breakout from our past performance and our strong plans make me confident about the future and give me conviction that reimagining Eureka Forbes will restore its historic and rightful glory. The company's management team is aiming to achieve this objective based on the trust of more than 14 million customers spread across 19,500 PIN codes and having a strong team of more than 8,000 company-trained service technicians. I am confident that we will reach every milestone together. I look forward to many more years of your continued support and commitment. Thank you. The integrated annual report of the company for the financial year 23-24, together with a notice convening this AGM, was circulated to you all. The board's report with annexures, the chairman's message, and the managing director and chief executive's message highlight the performance of the company during the year. May I now request Pragya to proceed with the agenda for this meeting. Thank you.
Good afternoon again. Thank you, Chairman Sir. The resolutions proposed to be passed in this AGM are as follows. Item number 1, which is an ordinary resolution, is about to receive, consider and adopt the audited standalone financial statements of the company for the financial year ended March 31, 2024, together with the report of the Board of Directors and the auditor's report thereon, and the audited consolidated financial statements of the company for the financial year ended March 31, 2024, together with the report of the auditors thereon. Item number 2 is also an ordinary resolution, which is to appoint a director in place of Mr. Sahil Dalal, who retires by rotation and being eligible, offers his candidature for reappointment. Item number 3, which is also an ordinary resolution, to ratify remuneration payable to cost auditors. Now, before we take up the questions, I would like to mention some important aspects for participation in the question and answer session. All the members and other participants who have joined this meeting are, by default, placed on mute mode by the host to avoid any disturbances arising from the background noise and to ensure smooth and seamless conduct of this meeting. Once the question and answer session starts, The host will call out the names of the shareholders who have registered themselves as speakers in the order of their registration. Then the host will unmute that particular speaker shareholder whose name is called out. In case of any connectivity problem at speaker shareholder's end, the next speaker shareholder would be called to join. Once the connectivity improves, the speaker shareholder who has not spoken may be called back after the other speakers have completed their turns. Speaker shareholders are requested to limit their remarks to maximum 3 minutes each, and please respect the time limits. I would request the members to be brief and restrict their views and queries to the items mentioned in the AGM notice so as to give an opportunity to others. I request the host now to unmute the speaker shareholders in the order of their registration. I now call upon the speaker shareholders to express their views or queries.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I would request Ms. Smita Shah, who is the first registered speaker shareholder, ask her questions. Ma'am, you have been unmuted. I request you to.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We can hear you.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you so much. माननीय चेयरमैन साहब श्री अरविंद जी, एमडी सीईओ श्री प्रतीक जी तथा सभी उपस्थित मान्यवर डायरेक्टर्स, सर आप सभी को मेरा स्मिता शाह का सादर प्रणाम। प्रथम तो मैं पूरी यंग डायनेमिक स्टार सीएस टीम का मैं बहुत बहुत दिल से आभार व्यक्त करती हूँ। बहुत ही हेल्पफुल, चीयरफुल एंड केयरफुल सीएस टीम है। हम शेयर होल्डर को बहुत अच्छा गाइड करते हैं, हेल्प करके आज आपके साथ जो बात करने का मौका दिया, सो वेरी अट्रैक्टिव, ट्रांसफरर, फुल इंफॉर्मेशन के साथ गुड रिपोर्ट भी बनाई गई और हमें फिजिकल कॉपी हमारी रिक्वेस्ट के अनुसार भेजी। सो मैं मेहनती, हार्ड वर्कर एंड वेरी गुड नेचर और अपने सभी का गुड वर्क में बहुत ही रिस्पॉन्सिबल ऐसे कंपनी सेक्रेटरी मिस प्रज्ञा जी को मैं दिल से धन्यवाद देती हूँ और उनकी पूरी इन्वेस्टर सर्विस के लिए सराहना करते हुए मैं उनकी पूरी सेक्रेटरी टीम, सभी यंगस्टर की बहुत हार्ड वर्क और मेहनत उनके साथ प्रज्ञा जी के साथ रहा है, तो पूरी सेक्रेटरी टीम को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करती हूँ। और चेयरमैन साहब, कंपनी का वेरी वेल डन, एक्सेलेंट परफॉर्मेंस रहा है। स्टैंड लोन एंड कंसोलिडेटेड दोनों में कंपनी अच्छी तरक्की के साथ कंपनी बहुत अच्छे से आगे बढ़ रही है। आपने काफी सारे अवार्ड्स भी प्राप्त किए, सो हर रीति से हमारी कंपनी लाजवाब रीति से आगे बढ़ रही है। आपको मैं दिल से अभिनंदन देती हूँ, बस आप ऐसे ही आगे आगे बढ़ते रहिए। ये आपकी सुपर सुपर लाजवाब लीडरशिप, ये सभी बोर्ड टीम का भी आपके साथ साथ सहयोग, सभी एम्प्लॉइज वर्कर सभी का भी, जो उनका भी मेहनत और हार्ड वर्क आज आपके साथ है, सो आज कंपनी में रौनक बढ़ गई है। आपके यहाँ पूरी तरह ट्रांसपेरेंसी है। सो बस मैं भी यही कहना चाहूंगी कि जब हाथों में हाथ हो और हम सबका साथ हो, सो जरूर कंपनी का और शेयर होल्डर का भी विकास हो। सो सर, हमें भी आपको साथ देना है। सो सर, हम भी आपके साथ सदा आपके साथ है। सो मेरा एज यूजुअल आज के सभी रिजोल्यूशन में मैं फुल्ली स्ट्रांगली सपोर्ट करती हूँ और एक शेयर होल्डर बहन के नाते मैं आपको आशीर्वाद के साथ शुभकामना करती हूँ कि हर सबों का उजाला आपके साथ हो, सारी खुशियों का पल पल आपके पास हो, जिंदगी की हर ट्रबल दूर होकर आप रहिए सदा फिट और आने वाले फ्यूचर सदा रहेगा आपके लिए सुपर हिट। ईश्वर आपकी झोली सदा हरी भरी रखे, आप सदा स्वस्थ रहे, मस्त रहे और सफलता की मंजिल चढ़ते रहे। फ्यूचर आपका सदा मंगलमय बने, यही श्री गणेश जी के और ईश्वर के चरणों में प्रार्थना करते हैं, मेरी हार्टली शुभकामना। और बस आने वाले सभी रिजोल्यूशन में मैं फुल्ली सपोर्ट करती हूँ। और चेयरमैन साहब, मेरी एक हम्बल रिक्वेस्ट है कि आपकी फैक्ट्री विजिट जरूर करवाइए। और दूसरी मेरी रिक्वेस्ट है कि सर, हमारी बन सके तो नेक्स्ट ईयर से आप अपनी फिजिकल हाइब्रिड एजीएम करें, ताकि हमें तो आपको मिलने की, रूबरू मिलने की बहुत चाहना है। तो सर, जो वीसी करना चाहते हैं वीसी से भी जुड़ सकते हैं और हमें आपसे फिजिकल में भी मौका मिल सकता है। तो सर, नेक्स्ट ईयर जरूर आप सोचिए और ये हमारी हाइब्रिड एजीएम जरूर करने की कृपा करें। बाकी तो बस हमारा फुल्ली सपोर्ट है। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद बात करने के लिए। और सर चालू रखिए, भरत साहब बात करते हैं।
माननीय चेयरमैन श्री, एमडी श्री और अन्य मान्यवर डायरेक्टर, सर मेरा नाम भरत शाह, सर मेरी कोई क्वेरी नहीं है, क्योंकि आप एकदम न्यूट्रली कंपनी चला रहे हो सर, हमेशा शेयर होल्डर का इसको ख्याल रख के कंपनी चला रहे हो, और जो कंपनी अपनी बहुत आगे बढ़ रही है सर, तो मैं बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद अभिनंदन देता हूँ सर। और इसके लिए सर चेयरमैन सर, आपको, एमडी सर और पूरे बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर और कंपनी के सभी छोटे बड़े एम्प्लॉइज का मैं बहुत धन्यवाद आभार अभिनंदन देता हूँ। और भगवान ईश्वर को प्रार्थना है कि अपनी कंपनी दिन दोगुनी रात चौगुनी आगे बढ़े सर। सर 5 ईयर्स के फ्यूचर प्रोग्राम जरूर बताना सर। और सारे अवार्ड्स के लिए भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद अभिनंदन देता हूँ सर। और सर सीएसआर एक्टिविटी भी एक मानव का कार्य है, व्यवस्थित चल रही है, तो उसके लिए भी बहुत धन्यवाद अभिनंदन देता हूँ। और अपने कंपनी सेक्रेटरी प्रज्ञा जी और उनकी पूरी सीएस टीम को बहुत 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 धन्यवाद अभिनंदन देता हूँ। हमेशा शेयर होल्डर का इसको ख्याल रखते हैं, शेयर होल्डर को रिस्पेक्ट देते हैं और बेस्ट इन्वेस्टर सर्विस दे रहे हैं। और अभी एजीएम जो जुड़ने के लिए भी बैलेंस शीट भी कॉपी भी एकदम अच्छी व्यवस्थित बनवाई है, हम लोगों को बराबर व्यवस्थित भेजी है। और ये वीसी माध्यम में जुड़ने के लिए भी बहुत दिक्कतें आती है, तो पूरी हार्ड वर्किंग कंपनी सेक्रेटरी की पूरी कंपनी सेक्रेटरी और उनकी पूरी हार्ड वर्किंग सेल्स टीम ने बहुत मेहनत करके उनको जुड़वाया है। तो मैं कंपनी सेक्रेटरी, हार्ड वर्किंग कंपनी सेक्रेटरी और उनकी पूरी सेल्स टीम को बहुत धन्यवाद अभिनंदन देता हूँ सर। और सर फैक्ट्री विजिट के लिए भी जरूर सोचना सर, तो हो सके तो फैक्ट्री विजिट जरूर कराना। और नेक्स्ट ईयर सर फेस टू फेस मीटिंग जरूर रखना, कि आप आने के बाद हम लोग रूबरू में नहीं मिले सर, तो नेक्स्ट ईयर हाइब्रिड रखिए, तो बाहर गाँव वाले को भी चांस मिलेगा और आपको हम रूबरू में सर मिल सके, बहुत आनंद होएगा सर, आत्मीयता का बढ़ा होएगा। तो नेक्स्ट ईयर फेस टू फेस जरूर मीटिंग रखने की मेरी एक रिक्वेस्ट है सर। बाकी आपकी हेल्थ वेल्थ अच्छी रहे, अपनी कंपनी बहुत बढ़िया प्रगति करे, भगवान ईश्वर को मेरी हृदय पूर्वक प्रार्थना है, हार्टली प्रार्थना है। सारे रिजोल्यूशन में मेरा पूरा सपोर्ट है सर, हम सदा आपके साथ है सर। थैंक यू वेरी मच। जय हिंद सर, वंदे मातरम सर, जय हिंद। थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू।
Thank you, Smita ji and Bharat ji, for your queries and your kind words. Next speaker shareholder is Mr. Yusuf Rangwala. Mr. Rangwala, we have unmuted you. We request you to please ask your question with your turn video on.
आपको आवाज आ रहा है साहब? आपको आवाज आ रहा है?
Yes, Yusuf ji, we can hear you. आ रही आवाज।
सर पहले तो अपना अरविंद उपडिया साहब, आपको सब धन्यवाद देता हूँ सर। हाउ आर यू सर? आपका चेहरा देख के सर हम आपका ही प्रोडक्ट घर में यूज करते हैं सर। आपका वाटर फिल्टर और आपका घर का यो क्लीनर सब बहुत अच्छा है सर। हाउ मेनी न्यू प्रोडक्ट यू इंट्रोड्यूस इन दिस ईयर? सर मुझे बैलेंस शीट ने मुझे प्रज्ञा मैडम को बोलना, मुझे बैलेंस शीट उनकी तरफ से मुझे फोन आया था और ये लिंक भेजा था, उनके लिए सर बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूँ। शी इज अ वेरी हार्ड वर्किंग कंपनी सेक्रेटरी। सर लास्ट अपने बोनस कब दिया था और जाने जाने व्हाट आर द टोटल नंबर ऑफ स्टाफ? सर मैं भी अपना भरत भाई को ज्वाइन करता हूँ, आप फैक्ट्री विजिट कराइए सर। सर हो सके तो दिवाली में आपसे छोटा सा गेट टुगेदर रखिए। और सर प्लीज सेंड सब गुडीज। सर आप हमें सब गुडीज भेजिए दिवाली के टाइम पे सर, आप हमें भूलना मत सर। अतुल सर आप हमें याद रखना सर, हम भी आपके साथ में जुड़े हुए सर। टुडे देयर आर 25 मीटिंग बट आई लेफ्ट ऑल द मीटिंग। जब आपका मीटिंग आया हम आपसे जुड़ने के लिए सर बहुत ये थे सर। थैंक यू वेरी मच। फूलों की खुशबू कलियों की बार और यूरोप का साथ। सर हेमा मालिनी अपना ब्रांड एम्बेसडर है कि नहीं सर? मैं जानना चाहता हूँ हेमा मालिनी मैडम सी जे ब्रांड एम्बेसडर है कि नहीं, वो जानना चाहता हूँ। वेदर सी इज देयर और नॉट, सर वो है कि नहीं वो मुझे जानना चाहता हूँ सर। वो है कि नहीं मैडम अपने साथ में जुड़े हुए? हेलो हेलो।
Yusuf ji, we will answer your queries later.
ओके मैडम, थैंक यू वेरी मच। नो मोर क्वेश्चन। फूलों की खुशबू और अपना साथ हमेशा रहे सर। थैंक यू वेरी मच। और प्रज्ञा मैडम को भी धन्यवाद देता हूँ। जय हिंद सर, जय हिंद।
Thank you, sir, for your questions. Next, we request Mr. Gautam Tiwari to ask his questions. Sir, you have been unmuted. We request you to ask your question.
सर कैन यू लिसन मी? आप मुझे गौतम
Yes,
तिवारी
sir. Yes, sir, we can hear you.
हाँ थैंक यू वेरी मच भैया, थैंक यू वेरी मच। हाँ डियर सर, ऑनरेबल वेरी रिस्पेक्टेबल चेयरमैन सर अरविंद उप्पल जी, आवर एमडी सीईओ प्रतीक जी, सीएफओ गौरव खंडेलवाल जी, सीए सुश्री प्रज्ञा जी, वेरी डायनामिक एनर्जेटिक वेरी हेल्पफुल। हमारी शेयर होल्डर के टीम में देवयानी जी और नेहा जी and other dignified very eminent distinguished directors on board, team Eureka Forbes Limited. Myself Gautam Tiwari and I am participating at this AGM from Mumbai. सर डियर सर, हमारी एडवेंट कंपनी के पास इस कंपनी की मैनेजमेंट है और एडवेंट कंपनी इज ऑलवेज वर्किंग इन द इंटरेस्ट ऑफ माइनॉरिटी शेयर होल्डर्स. दिस इज व्हाट वी हैव बीन ऑब्जर्विंग सिंस इयर्स टुगेदर. डियर सर, एडवेंट कंपनी ने ही क्रॉम्पटन कंपनी को खरीद कर आज इसे नई ऊंचाइयां प्रदान की हैं वाया उड़ान. 2015 में क्रॉम्पटन को खरीद कर उसे नई ऊंचाइयों तक पहुंचाया एडवेंट कंपनी ने और आज हम देख रहे हैं कि उसकी तरक्की में 10 फोल्ड से भी ज्यादा तरक्की हुई है. इसी तरह 2022 में यूरेका फोर्ब्स को खरीदा है हमारी एडवेंट कंपनी ने एंड आई एम वेरी श्योर, नॉट 100%, 110% आई एम श्योर, पूरा भरोसा है कि एडवेंट कंपनी हमारी यूरेका फोर्ब्स को भी बहुत अच्छी और बहुत नई ऊंचाइयों पर जल्दी पहुंचाएगी. सर फर्स्ट इंटीग्रेटेड रिपोर्ट, हाँ मैनेजमेंट के लिए सर वी रियली हार्टली कॉन्ग्रेचुलेट द मैनेजमेंट फॉर गिविंग अस द फर्स्ट इंटीग्रेटेड एनुअल रिपोर्ट. मैनेजमेंट ने जो हमें प्रदर्शित किया है, जो भेजा है, जो बनाया है, वो आपने बिल्कुल लाजवाब है सर और अपने आप का पहला यूनिक रिपोर्ट है. और अरविंद जी के इनवैल्यूएबल मार्गदर्शन और गाइडेंस में हमारे एमडी प्रतीक जी और सीएफओ गौरव कटेवाल जी ने जो मेहनत मशक्कत करके इस कंपनी को नया योगदान दिया है और जो इंटीग्रेटेड रिपोर्ट पेश किया है, उसके लिए हम बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देते हैं और बहुत बहुत उनकी तारीफ करते हैं सर. सर आपकी बिजनेस आप सबका बिजनेस एक्यूमेन, बिजनेस अंडरस्टैंडिंग, बिजनेस लियासन, एक्सपीरियंस, एक्सपर्टाइज की बदौलत ये ईयर ऑन ईयर कंपनी इस नई ऊंचाइयों तक पहुंची है और इससे शेयर होल्डर्स को बहुत लाभान्वित किया है और बहुत रिवॉर्डिंग किया है. इसके लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. जहां तक सेक्रेटरियल टीम का सवाल है सर, प्रज्ञा जी को हम क्रॉम्पटन व्यूज के जमाने से मोर देन 20 ईयर्स से हम जानते हैं, उनको हम परख चुके हैं. उनकी हेल्पिंग कैटेगरी इतनी लाजवाब है, वेरी मच ड्यू रिस्पेक्ट के साथ में बात करती हैं, बहुत ही हार्मोनियस और रिस्पेक्टफुल तरीके से वो शेयर होल्डर्स को ट्रीट करती हैं. बहुत ही सेटिस्फैक्शन, हमारी क्वेरी कोई भी इश्यू हमारा बकाया नहीं रहता है, सारे इश्यू और क्वेरी सॉल्व हो जाती हैं. इसके लिए इतनी अच्छी टीम के लिए चुनने के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर. और इवन हमारी एनएसडीएल की टीम और वेबएक्स की टेक्निकल टीम भी बहुत अच्छी सर्विस दे रही है. मैनेजमेंट को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद इतनी अच्छी शेयर होल्डर टीम को चुनने के लिए, शेयर होल्डर के लिए बेनिफिशियल टीम को चुनने के लिए और सभी मेंबर्स को भी. सर स्मॉल क्वेरीज विच आई वुड लाइक टू आस्क, 3-4 क्वेरीज हैं सर. व्हाट विल बी द रोड मैप ऑफ आवर कंपनी फॉर दिस ईयर एट द नेक्स्ट? सेकंड सर, व्हाट इज आवर market share at present as we have? Sir, how many R&D centers we have and how much the company has spent during Q1 FY 24-25 on R&D and CSR activities? Sir, how much is our capacity utilization at present? और सर आजकल सारी कंपनीज आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस और ग्रीन एनर्जी, इंटरनेट एनर्जी को यूज कर रही है कंपनी के प्रॉफिट के लिए, हम उसे किस तरीके से यूज कर रहे हैं सर? सर हमारा ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन वाया उड़ान is progressing speedily to achieve its targets in water penetration and vacuum cleaners. आपने बताया था last time. So what is your vision of Udan theme now and what is the total size of water filters, water purifiers in the market volume wise sir? सर हमारा लैंड बैंक 64 करोड़ का है. So is there any plan of sale of surplus assets? And lastly sir, which vertical of our will become the growth engine contributing maximum revenue and maximum profitability to us now and in future, and how much do we spend on research and innovation? So finally I would like to conclude that I support appointments and reappointments of all directors on board. I have voted for all the resolutions. Strongly I support all resolutions. I have voted favorably for all resolutions. और आप सभी के लिए हेल्दी वेल्दी लाइफ और बहुत की शुभकामनाएं और आने वाले सभी फ्यूचर के लिए भी यू कैन सी मी सर, और आने वाले फ्यूचर के सभी त्योहारों के लिए बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं. आई वुड लाइक टू से सर कि फूलों की खुशबू, कलियों की बहार, मौसम की बौछार, परमेश्वर आपको दे सफलताएं बारंबार लगातार अपरंपार. मुबारक हो आप में से हर एक को आने वाले सभी दशहरा, दिवाली, नवरात्रि, न्यू ईयर के त्योहार, और आप सभी रहें सदा सर्वदा फिट और आप में से हर एक का आने वाला हर एक दिन हो सुपरहिट. इसी के साथ जय श्री कृष्ण, जय श्री राम और बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाओं के साथ आई एम हियर कंक्लूडिंग माय स्पीच. थैंक यू वेरी मच सर. थैंक यू.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker shareholder is Mr. Kaushik Sahukar. Kaushik ji, we request you to ask your questions. Unfortunately, Mr. Kaushik has not been able to join the meeting, so we'll proceed to the next speaker shareholder. The next speaker shareholder on the list is Mr. Vinay Bhide. Vinay ji, we request you to ask your question. We have unmuted you.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Fine, thank you, ma'am. Chairman Mr. Arvind Uppal, Mr. Pratik Kota, other distinguished directors present at today's AGM, company executives and fellow shareholders. My name is Vinay Bhide. I'm a long-term supporter and shareholder. I'm speaking from my residence in Mumbai. At the outset, let me thank you for two counts. We have performed well in the concluded financial year, considering the overall situation. And whatever we have done and whatever we plan to do, we have very nicely put it in the form of an annual report. So I compliment the entire team, which performed well, as well as, put that in the form of an annual report. Because, I believe both things are equally important. Now, having said that, I will not delve into the figures because they are all a part of the report. I will look at, something beyond the report, and the questions that I, propose to put before you, sir, are as follows. The first question, vacuum cleaners contributed 14% revenue of total sales. Question is, what is the market size of vacuum cleaners in India? What is our market share? What is our plan to increase the market share? The point, that I am driving at here is that, like the water filters, even the vacuum cleaners are, let us say, a product that we've been offering to customers for a very long time. So I'm surprised that, that the, revenue is just 14% of sales, and hence this question. The second part is market response and market feedback for new products that we launched this year, and which of the new launches that we did in 23-24 holds more promise. The third question, typical margin bands we derive from water purifiers and vacuum cleaners. And the final point, the capex and the opex spends on IT and digital in financial year 24, and our budgets that we have on the same head for the current financial year. So these are the few questions which I thought I'll quickly pose before you. I must mention, without missing out that Pragya madam and her entire team, Vaibhav and her colleagues, have worked hard, to put us all together and bring us as a part of the meeting. So I support all the resolutions, and I look forward to much better days ahead for Eureka Forbes. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vinay ji. The next speaker shareholder is Mr. Anil Mehta. Sir, we have unmuted you. We request you to please ask your questions. Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Yeah, am I audible now?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning. Good afternoon. This is Anil Mehta. Attend this meeting from my residence, Kandivali, Mumbai. We have a few questions, sir. The question number one, with increased globalization, what has the company done to increase the international breadth of knowledge and experience on the board? Second question, how does the management monitor intercompany transactions? Question number three, what are the major opportunities and challenges facing the company, and how does the management plan to respond? Question 4. What are the principal objectives in the company's business plan for the next year and for the next 5 years? Question 4. How does the company assess its liquidity and the availability of the funding sources for operations? And the last question, what is the company doing to improve the shareholders' relations? With this, we are supporting all the resolution, and thanks to the secretarial department led by Ms. Pragya Kaur for her cooperative and supportive nature. Thank you. All the best.
Thank you, Anilji, for your questions. Proceeding with the next person. Proceeding with the next person on the list, we have Mr. Rangan Venkataraman. Sir, we request you to please ask your questions. Mr. Venkataraman has also not been able to join the meeting. So we proceed to the last speaker shareholder. The last speaker shareholder is Ms. Aspi Bisania. Ma'am, we have unmuted you. We request you to please take up your questions. Ma'am, we request you to please ask your questions. So we request you to please unmute yourself and ask your question. Due to technical reasons, we are not able to connect with Mr. Aspi. We thank all the speaker shareholders for their questions. Now I request the management team to address the questions of the speaker shareholders. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to thank all the members for their queries and views. I think I'll request our Managing Director and CFO to answer all these questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chairman, sir. And thank you to all the shareholders who posed the questions. Let me start by responding to the question first of Smitaji and Bharatji, then their feedback as well. Thank you very much for your appreciation of the secretarial team, as also of all the awards and recognition we have received. Your feedback on two counts, on having and organizing a factory visit and also having a hybrid AGM next time, have been recorded, and we'll think about them and take them forward accordingly. And thank you. Please, thank you once again for your feedback. Yusuf ji, you also seconded the point about factory visit, and like I said, we'll keep that in mind. You had a few questions specifically about our new product plans. As you have seen both from the outside and in the annual report, we have very consciously dialed up our focus on innovations, new product introductions. And last year, we launched a slew of innovations, both in water and in the vacuum cleaner segment. They have been received very, very well, and I'll speak more of that later. And in keeping with the same strategy, we also have a very aggressive lineup planned over this year and the next. And you will see that play out very soon. You posed a question about a brand ambassador. And we are happy to tell you that we have a very aggressive and very interesting and very disruptive advertising campaign, which doesn't right now have any brand ambassadors, but that's done really well for us. You may recognize from your past visibility that the campaign that we ran to drive awareness about water purification and the advantages of AquaGuard targeted at the cloth filter user did really well. Not only did we get significant growth because of that, you also were recognized by the marketing fraternity through an award on the marketing and advertising effectiveness. So that's something that worked well for us. There was a question, Gaurav, on the bonus, which you may want to respond to.
Yes. Thank you, Yusuf ji, for your suggestion. We take cognizance of your suggestion, and at an appropriate time, we will definitely keep this in mind in terms of rewarding shareholders. Thank you.
Thank you, Gaurav. I'll go on to the questions now posed by Gautam ji. I think Gautam ji, you had appreciation for the secretarial team. Thank you for that. You also had good things to say about the integrated annual report. Once again, thank you for your praise and your appreciation. You asked a question about our roadmap for this year and the next year. I think our strategy for transformation and for driving growth, which is UDAN, has been deployed last year, and as you have seen, has given us good results. And we intend to continue with that this year and the next. Our strategic themes are very clear. Water purifiers in India are still a very small category, still a very small business. So how do we grow penetration? How do we drive adoption of this category much more is one key priority. The second theme I talked about earlier just now is on innovations and looking at more and more premium innovations, knowing that Indians and consumers, especially in urban India, are ready for premium innovations which offer very, very differentiated features. There's a lot of work that's going on and that will sustain in that area. The third area is on vacuum cleaners and air purifiers. How do we expand the category portfolio? And the fourth theme is on really improving our customer experience and driving a service business higher, all underpinned by a fundamental support through digitalization and through IT and technology. And that really is a roadmap, not just for this year, but in the foreseeable future. We are fortunate to have a brand like AquaGuard, a power brand really, which is trusted universally, known universally, trusted universally, and we are market leaders with a market share which is very, very strong. We have one R&D center based in Bangalore, and we have a very, very strong team. We doubled our R&D manpower and our R&D spends last year in order to drive the thrust on innovations and on new product development. And I'll request Gaurav to talk about the costs on R&D.
Yeah. So Gautamji, continuing with the trend of FY24, our spends in R&D are again double in Q1. We will continue this investment because we've seen the results of that in the quality of our innovations, and this will remain an area of focus and investment for us even going ahead.
On capacity utilization, Gautamji, which was your next question, I'm happy to share with you that notwithstanding the very encouraging growth we have seen, we have abundant headroom for growth and we have abundant capacity to fuel and feed that growth. You had a very interesting next question, which in many ways is, the theme, in multiple areas now on artificial intelligence. And I'm happy to tell you that your company is acutely aware of the potential of AI. And we have very clear work streams which aim at tapping into this capability, growing capability to draw value in the business. And there are three themes that I'll call out specifically. One is in the entire area of customer experience and customer service, using AI-powered bots to improve the customer experience, recognize the customer's query and feedback, and personalize interactions. So there's a lot of work happening there. The other area is in supply chain, both for finished goods and for spares. As you are aware and as you would understand, given our long history as a company, we have many, many legacy devices which require spares and require replacements. So the spares supply chain, given its very nature, which is large, distributed, would benefit immensely by having an AI-powered capability, a machine learning-based capability, AI-powered ability, which enables us to get a little sharper and much more effective in feeding, the customer requirements. The third area, which is a use case for AI, is in the area of analytics and improved governance. Given the large nature and the distributed nature of our field force, both in service and in sales, very, very sharp analytics, which allow us to, control costs and drive efficiencies, is one way in which we are also looking at AI. I hope that answers your question, and thank you for that. Vision for Udaan, as I mentioned earlier, our Udaan program for transformation has given us early results, early success, and we intend to continue. Our vision for Udaan is nothing short of a complete reimagination for Eureka Forbes and of Eureka Forbes, which is a theme of the annual report, as you're aware. To really transform the company into being a D2C business, a direct-to-customer business, a business that is focused on health and hygiene tech, and which allows us to cater to every Indian, both in urban and in rural India, to provide them the benefits of pure water, clean air and pure air, and clean earth through cleaning. I think the size of the water purifier market is about 4,500 crores rupees right now. There's also a market equivalent size for the filters. And I think the very exciting part is that we see a long runway for growth, because the penetration of water purifiers in the country is only about 6%, which means that 94% of households in India don't even have a water purifier, and that tells you that we have such a large room to grow the category and to grow the business. Profitability plan. You have seen the margin improvement that we've delivered last year. And I would like to reassure you that we have an ongoing program aimed at extracting efficiencies, driving profitability up. And you will see margin expansion as we progress and as we go forward. That said, the one thing I do want to also underline is that we are a growth business, and we will do what it takes to drive investments in growth, in advertising, in communicating these wonderful innovations that we have launched. So we'll always drive growth, even as we drive margins. There was one question, Gaurav, if I may request you to respond on the land bank.
Yes, on the land bank monetization opportunity, first you'll be pleased to note that we've now become a cash surplus business. We used to be in debt, but I think the efficiencies that we've had over the last couple of years have made it cash surplus. Having said that, we are always cognizant of any opportunities that may come up in terms of monetizing our assets, including land bank, and we'll constantly keep looking for opportunities whenever they arise.
Thank you, Gaurav. I'll now move to questions asked by Mr. Vinay Bide. Vinayji, thank you for the questions, and thank you also for the appreciation of our performance, as also of the annual report, and also the secretarial team. You had a very interesting question on vacuum cleaners, and your question was, could the category be larger? What's the market size? The market size is about 500 crores for vacuum cleaners in the country. We are strong market leaders, and we were the pioneers, as you know, in this category. We created this category 42 years ago, and we are dominant market leaders even now. I think the important thing, and the question that you asked, is that why is this category not more, not bigger, not higher in size? And I think that in many ways is a pivotal question. I think for many years, I think it was felt that the relevance of vacuum cleaners in homes was debatable, and people weren't sure about it. Historically, I'm talking about 10, 15 years ago. I think what's happened now, especially post-pandemic, is that we've all recognized the need to have some convenient cleaning solution at hand in case we aren't able to have access to domestic help. And that is what is driving and fueling the growth of the vacuum cleaner category. So you'll be happy to know, sir, that the segment of vacuum cleaners driven by the segment of convenient cleaning is really growing very, very encouragingly. And your company also has a very strong set of plans to participate in this growth and to lead this growth. Your question was next on the new products that we've launched, and you asked which of them are showing more promise. I think you'll be happy to know, sir, that both in water purifiers and indeed in vacuum cleaners, we've had a very encouraging feedback and response from both consumers and from our trade partners. Let me illustrate with 2 or 3 examples. We have a water purifier that we've launched recently, AquaGuard Blaze Insta, and it gives consumers access to instant hot water on tap, with, of course, an appropriate child safety lock to make sure there is nothing wrong. I think that one proposition of having instant hot water is extremely relevant. As we can imagine, the habit for green tea is growing. We all have grown used to drinking warm water, not just ambient water. And that one product is doing extremely well across all our channels. Similarly, we've launched another product, which is our under the sink product. And it's doing really well. The third product that we've launched in water is the Slim Tech range, which is a glass finish. You may have seen it in annual report also. And this, again, keeping in mind the same theme, people have upgraded kitchens, they've got very smart looking refrigerators, microwave ovens. So this water purifier belongs right at place and right at home in your smart modular kitchen. You'll be happy to know that given its design and its cutting edge aesthetic, We won the Red Dot Award last year, which is a very, very rare appreciation. And we're happy to have received that. And a vindication of the fact that it's the best designed water purifier in the market and is doing well as well. In vacuum cleaners, the robotic vacuum cleaners that I was talking about, the convenient cleaning segment, also is doing really well for us. So we've had a good success rate in our innovations. That said, we recognize that innovations as a space is fraught with risk, and there is always a probability of risk. We appreciate that, we recognize that, and we try and mitigate that going forward and navigate by the consumer. There were a couple of questions, Gaurav, on margins and the CapEx and OpEx on IT digital.
Yeah.
You can just please take those.
On the margin side, we'll be pleased to know that we've had not only an overall margin improvement, but even in our product business, they continue to show healthy margin improvement. We've also put in place a cost program to make sure that while we invest in innovations, while we invest in our investment, we keep driving margin efficiencies, and that will continue to be an area of focus for both water purifiers and vacuum cleaners. You had another question on CapEx. Our CapEx in FY24 was 30 crores. Just as a reference, this was 1.5 times the average CapEx of the last 5 years. And this goes in line with the strategy of investing on foundation capabilities, investing in R&D, investing in innovation, investing in digitization. We expect to continue this. And even this year, we plan to spend roughly 40 crores in our CapEx so that we keep building the strong foundations for the future.
Thank you, Gaurav. I'll now move to questions asked by Mr. Mehta. Thank you, sir, for your questions. You had a very interesting question that you opened with about what we were doing to increase our exposure and our breadth of knowledge, like you said, what's happening in the market internationally. And, in many ways, as your question suggests, the world is moving so rapidly that it's critical that we stay current and updated with what's happening both in our categories, in our functions, in our businesses. And you'll be happy to know that we have a very, very deliberate and a very, very organized effort at doing that. Our industry has, like in durables, events which happen regularly internationally, where you have vendors, exhibitors, partners coming in showcasing products, technologies, new ideas, and we participate in most of them, if not all, across the world. And not only do we have one or two people going, we have specific teams going to look at specific areas of knowledge acquisition. So that's one thing. The other thing is, I think, good news about having access to data is that we can very easily access knowledge and best practices from outside. And we have internally curated a forum in which we share this knowledge and to make sure that we have these cascades happen of people who have picked up something interesting, something insightful. We also have, and we are very, very privileged, as you're aware, of having an illustrious board of directors. And our chairman, Shri Arvind Uppalji, is somebody whom we turn to for advice because his exposure is immense and his knowledge comes in very, very handy when we are often in doubt. So I hope that answers your questions. That first question, sorry. You also asked a question about what do we face as challenges and opportunities and how do we intend to respond to them. I think the really exciting part about the charter at Eureka Forbes is that we see an abundance of opportunity. We see our categories which have extremely low penetration. We see the consumer who's ready. Post-pandemic, the consumer is willing to look at and ready to look at health and hygiene and safety. So the consumer is ready. We are urbanizing as a country. There is more access to tap water. There's more electrification. There are more working women in the industry. So clearly there are all the tailwinds which are behind us and give us a plethora of opportunities. So whether it's in water purification, whether it's in vacuum cleaners, whether it's in air purifiers, whether it's in digital, whether it's in aftermarket, we see a lot of opportunities, and we have a very deliberate plan as encompassed and as sort of captured in UDAN, aimed at extracting and tapping into those opportunities. There'll always be challenges, but we don't worry about them. As long as we have our eyes fixed on the objectives, and as long as we mitigate the challenges and the risks that we see around us, I think we believe that we'll be making good progress. Our objectives for the next 4 or 5 years, which was what your next question was, are about driving 3 things. Very, very sharp and consistent growth in all our categories, growth in products, growth in services, Number one. Number two, growth in profitability. And number three, a significant ramp up in a customer experience. So those are the three big vectors in which we intend to make substantive progress, both in the short term and the medium to the long term. Gaurav, there were 2-3 other questions that
Yes.
intercompany transactions.
Anilji, you had one question on intercompany transactions. So we have a very strong governance framework for that. One, they're all based on transfer pricing study and are on arm's length basis. Number two, there is a special approval process to make sure that these transactions go through multiple layers of approval. So we have that framework in place. You had another question on how do we manage liquidity. So we, for example, we look at things like daily liquidity, we look at daily cash collections. So there is a very strong framework to manage that liquidity. You'll be pleased to know that we've moved now from being a company in debt to now being a company in surplus, and our constant focus, as you would have seen in FY24, would be to keep generating cash flows.
Thank you, Gaurav. I think that brings us to the end of the questions that were posed. Before I hand you back to the moderator, I want to once again reiterate my thank you for your questions, shareholders. I think they were extremely well thought out, and thank you for the questions and for your feedback. Thank you.
Thanks, Prateek. In case any queries have remained unanswered, we would clarify the same by responding to the valued shareholders separately. Now, can I request Pragya to take over the proceedings?
Managing Director and CEO and CFO for your detailed response to the queries. Members may note that the e-voting on NSDL platform will continue for next 15 minutes. Thereafter, the proceedings of the meeting shall be closed. Members who have not casted their vote through e-voting are requested to cast their vote. The scrutiny and counting of votes will commence after closure of the voting, and the final results of the e-voting will be declared within 2 working days of the conclusion of this AGM, and the same, along with the scrutinizer's report, shall be placed on the website of BSE and National Stock Exchange, where the shares of the company are listed, and also on the company's website as well as on NSDL's website. With this, the official business of this 15th AGM of your company as proposed is concluded. May I now request Chairman Sir for his concluding remarks?
Thank you, Pragya. I would like to thank all the shareholders who attended today's meeting. I'd like to thank the directors, the management team, company officials, and customers and business partners for their ongoing support. I'm thankful for your continued support and counsel and look forward to your continued support and trust in the organization. With this, I hereby declare the meeting closed. Stay safe and healthy. Thank you.